August 26th, beginning at 5 p.m. Call me 816-824-0275. See you there. Hello, Kansas City. This is Emma Venn with AfriPel. I am encouraging you to come out August 26th for the African Gospel Festival 3.0. If you're looking for a great African food, vendors, gospel artists, that will be the place to be. Highland Community Church of Christ, August 26th, beginning at 5 p.m. Call me 816-824-0275. See you there.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the BFTAA More Show. I am your host, Louis George Walker, coming to you from the fantastic studio of KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Radio, located in the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard. So, yes, we're glad to be here with you. This is a product of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center that came together to form this radio station called Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, KUAW. So if you want listening to us, you can always pick us up. We're on KUAW.org. If you go to KUAW.org, you can hear us broadcasting 24 hours a day. You can see a calendar of the shows that we have coming on and more updates of what we're doing in the community. We're also part of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, who we are going on our 20-year anniversary coming up in February of 2024 that we've been striving to close the digital divide that exists in the African-American community to get our families, our youth more involved in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So there's a lot of things going on in the city and the world, and we like to cover it here on BFTAA and More. We talk about some of the things going on in the community, in the world, and things that are happening in the technology field. So before we get ready to do that, one of the things we always go into is what's happening at NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, being that they are one of our leading research and development organizations in the government, that we like to give you an update on that. And this is a place where there are a lot of jobs. These are a place where people are putting STEM education to good use. So we'd like to go to it now and see what's going on in the world of technology and what's going on up in space. So the first segment that we're going to bring to you is What's Up This Week at NASA. Yeah, I remember it. Just a second sometime. So, all right, let's listen, sit back, check out what's happening this week at NASA.
Celebrating the Webb Space Telescope's first year of science, testing remote possibilities of a NASA humanoid robot, and a fleet of clean new rides for Artemis astronauts. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. On July 12th, we celebrated our James Webb Space Telescope's first year of science operations with the release of this new Webb image of the Rho-Ophiuchi Cloud Complex, the closest star-forming region to us, some 390 light-years away. Since the release of Webb's first full-color images in July 2022, the telescope has discovered some of the earliest galaxies ever observed, delivered the most detailed views of atmospheres of planets outside our solar system, and captured new views of planets within our solar system. Learn more at nasa.gov/web. NASA and Western Australia's Woodside Energy plan to use a NASA Valkyrie robot to test robotic remote operations at the company's facilities. The collaboration could lead to improved operational safety and efficiency at the company's offshore and remote installations. The venture could also help NASA develop a remotely operated mobile robot capable of working in conditions not suited for humans, like those astronauts may encounter on future Artemis missions to the moon. On July 11th, 3 specially designed, fully electric, environmentally friendly crew transportation vehicles were delivered to our Kennedy Space Center by KUAW Technologies Incorporated. The zero-emission vehicles will be used to transport astronauts from the crew quarters at Kennedy to their rocket and spacecraft at Launch Pad 39B ahead of Artemis missions to the moon. NASA Armstrong's DC-8 aircraft is conducting a series of low-altitude flights over some of the most densely populated places in North America as part of a collaborative effort with NOAA. The project is called AROMA, short for Atmospheric Emissions and Reactions Observed from Megacities to Marine Areas. It looks at how urban emissions and atmospheric chemical reactions that stem from the use of everyday items like personal care products and cleaning agents affect air quality and climate. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
All right. That's what's happening this week
Celebrating
at NASA.
the Webb Space Telescope.
Let me see if we got them coming back. They're gone. All right. Yeah, that's what's happening this week at NASA, and that's something that James Webb Telescope and what it's been able to see and bring into focus around the world, or around the universe, I should say, has been fantastic. So that's a good thing. Got a little bit of good news to bring to you. It was an article that was published today, or a couple of days ago. It was covered on NBC Channel 4, and it talks about and this was in Washington, about a young man who was homeless, who had lost his home, had been dropped out of, I won't say dropped out of school, hadn't graduated, and was able to go back and get his education and is moving forward in his life. So his name is Michael Jeffrey. So this Washington resident, Michael Jeffrey, was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. He lost both of his jobs and eventually leading to the loss of his home. This was from NBC4 in Washington. The worldwide crisis caused Jeffrey to be homeless, and he found himself living in a tent under a bridge in the D.C. Navy Yard area. So we don't want pity, he said. A lot of people in this situation is just like me. We want better. We want more, Jeffrey told reporters. It was in the same tent that he found more, enrolling last year in classes at the Goodwill Excel Center, a free high school program for adults. So I didn't want to be stuck out here. I don't wish this on anybody to be stuck out here, said Jeffrey. For an entire year, Jeffrey attended school while living on the street. Recently, his hard work paid off, and he graduated as valedictorian of his class. So just before graduation, he moved out of that tent into his brand new apartment. A lot of people don't get the second chance, and Goodwill allowed that second chance for me, and I appreciate that, Jeffrey explained. The celebratory moment wasn't lost on him, and he hopes that his story can inspire others. Jeffrey is now headed to college, enrolled at Catholic University for the fall semester. He has plans to eventually go to law school. He says, I'm studying legal studies. Who would have thought that I would be studying legal studies, right? Yeah, there was no hope in this tent, but I found it. So you see how far I've came and how far I will get, he said. So we say congratulations, Michael. We're so happy for you. And that's the thing, you never give up. You never count anybody out, and never count yourself out just because you've maybe run into some bad luck, maybe because some things didn't go your way or some bad choices and decisions that you made in the past. Doesn't mean that you're going to be that way forever. It shouldn't mark your whole life. So that's one thing that I'm glad to see the story about a young man that was working, lost his jobs, had 2 jobs, lost jobs during the COVID pandemic, which a lot of people fell into that same category. But he was able to go to school, and Goodwill Industries have been around in a lot of cities. Most of our major cities have a Goodwill Industries, and they are working, even here in Kansas City, went down to a center that they have down on 18th Street, and they're doing work to try and get people into the workforce, to get them trained. You may have had some bad luck. You may have made some bad decisions, but you don't have to live there all the time. Jeffrey is now enrolled in college. And, hey, who knows? He may be legal in Washington, D.C. You'll see him on the news one time and going to court and stuff. But, you know, we've got to always keep hope alive. That was Jesse Jackson's main theme with the Rainbow Coalition. Keep hope alive. You can always, if you can look up, you can get up. So you want to make sure that you always keep your eyes looking up. Look up toward the hills from which cometh our strength. And you can make things move in the direction that you would like them to move. So that's one thing we want to make sure that everybody has a second chance, a third chance. You know, I serve a God of another chance. You know, it doesn't even keep count of them and stuff. You just get chances to keep doing better. So, you know, look for that in everything that you do and in everybody that you meet, that they may just need another chance to do something a little better. All right, we're going to go back to NASA and look at what's happening in space to ground. We saw that they're checking the air with this low-flying jet, seeing how the pollutants are being spread around. They're looking into deep space. So now let's see what's going on at our space station with Space to Ground from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Kayla LaFrance. Today we're coming to you from the Sonny Carter Training Facility. This is where astronauts come to train to walk in space. As NASA's premier training facility that can simulate zero-G or weightless condition, the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, or NBL for short, is an essential tool used to design, test, and develop the International Space Station. The NBL played a vital role in the training of the Space Shuttle and early expedition crew members that worked to construct the orbiting laboratory. The NBL contains a full-scale mock-up of the space station, including all modules, external payloads, and work sites. It even has its own robotic arm. Once an astronaut is assigned to a flight to the ISS, that crew member will come and participate in 7 to 9 training runs here in the pool. They will be practicing the skills and tasks required if they were to do an EVA while aboard the International Space Station. That could be up to 60 hours of time spent suited up and training inside the pool. For special tasks such as the ongoing IROSA installation, the soon-to-be spacewalkers will also spend extra time in the pool to run through the choreographed actions that they will need to complete once they are in orbit. Crew members assigned to support the spacewalks from inside the station will also take part during the training run, where they will practice using the robotic arm, manipulate it to simulate the full experience of working in space. But you may ask yourself, what is it actually like to take part and help in the training of our astronauts before they go into space? We have a friend here to help answer those questions today.
When you get your first glimpse underwater, it's a little overwhelming. The pool is immense, and its depth is deceptive. I can see the space station ahead of us, but I don't want to get distracted. I need to concentrate on the work we need to do.
Dane Turner is the host of a new series of shows called Cosmic Careers that will debut soon on the NASA Johnson YouTube channel. So Dane, you literally dove into the deep end for your new show. Tell us about it.
The NBL is an amazing facility with such amazing professionals here. It's a 40-foot deep dive tank, it's 86 degrees, but then you also get the full-size mock-up of the ISS. And these mock-ups, they're built in-house and they're meant to be underwater and to be climbed around. The astronauts use these to practice for their spacewalks, and they've got all the handrails and all of the restraining tether points, and everything that they've got on the outside of the space station is there. So to be able to move around these things and to move on them as the astronauts do is just, it's the only way to experience space on Earth.
Now, we currently have a training run going on behind us right now, and it's a beehive of activity. Can you tell us more about what the dive team is doing to support our astronauts today?
Yeah, so you've got 5 divers for each astronaut in the water. You've got divers with cameras called float divers who are making sure that they've got a shot of the astronaut at all times. And then you've got these safety divers, and the safety divers are there to make sure that the astronaut is always in a good position, and to make sure that nothing goes wrong with the astronaut. And then you've got the utility divers, and the utility divers are there to make sure that all the equipment is in place and everything for the test run is as it should be.
So you got to go into the NBL for part of a new show that you're doing called Cosmic Career. Can you tell us more about that?
As you know, here at JSC, we're not just about rocket science. And at Cosmic Careers, we take a look at all of the other jobs that make human spaceflight possible. So for this first episode, we came to the NBL and looked at the divers who support the spacewalk training. And in the future, we'll look at some of the many other jobs that are able to support human spaceflight on the ground, just not the ones you might think about.
The premiere episode of Cosmic Careers will debut soon on the NASA Johnson YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Also this week, the latest shipment of research and supplies was sent to the International Space Station. The Northrop Grumman Cygnus spacecraft launched atop an Antares rocket from NASA's Wallops Flight Facility off the coast of Virginia. Over 8,000 pounds of cargo is aboard Cygnus, including crew provisions, new science payloads, and new space parts for the future station maintenance. And from the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory here in Houston, that's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Jaden Jennings.
All right. So we're not going to go into the next issue of Space to Ground. We're going to keep on going on with the BFTAA More show. That's very interesting. That's the thing. And if you get a chance working with your kids, or if you're just interested, go to the NASA space website. Go NASA.com, I believe is what it is. Go there and really check out some of the things, because we're just showing you a little bitty bit of what they have. They have experimental programs that you can work with, that your child can work with. They have lesson plans. They have things that if you're doing homeschooling with your child, you want to get their science together with them, NASA has a lot of that on their sites for you. So we definitely want to encourage people to use this. It was paid for with your tax dollars, so you might as well get some use out of it. But we're just glad to be able to bring you some information. We also like to let you know that we're starting up our robotics program here at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, located in the WEB Du Bois Learning Center. We have some young people that are coming in working on Lego, and we're getting ready to start recruiting students for our VEX robotics team. Our Lego is our 9 to 12-year-olds, and our VEX robotics is for middle school, 13, say, to 18 years old. So we've got program space opened up now. If you would like to get your child involved, go to our website, BFTAA.org. If you go to BFTAA.org, you can sign your child up on the page there. Right in the middle of the page, it has a link that you click on. It brings up a form, shows you the programs we have, and lets you sign your child up. So all you have to do is enter your information. It'll send us an email when you get through, and we will then be able to contact you and let you know when classes will be starting. We have 3 programs that we're working, and we're hoping to get them all off of the ground. We definitely could use some more volunteers, but we work with Lego Robotics, Vex Robotics, and then we have our Lee Hawk Drone Academy. So we've got 3 programs that we're doing. We're doing Lego, we're doing Vex, and we started a new program last year, a Drone Academy. The Drone Academy won't start until, again, it starts after the Lego, so it'll be in January when we'll start with the kids learning about flying drones and how to fly drones. But one thing that, like I said, we want to have is we need some more volunteers. So if you would like to help out, if you'd like to give back in the community, we can use you. Yes, that's something that the Black Family Technology Awareness Association needs, is some more volunteers with whatever skill sets you can bring to us. So we'd like for you to come or go to our webpage if you want to volunteer. Go to bftaa.org. That's www.bftaa.org. And in the middle of the page, you'll see a link that says if you want to volunteer, click on that link, and it'll open up a form that allows you to fill out that you would like to be a volunteer. And then you can get in touch with us. We'll get in touch with you after you fill that out and see where it is that you would like to help out. We don't tell you where you would help out. We want you to find where you feel that you could help out. But we're looking for volunteers that can help us with our robotics program, with our drone program, or just want to come in and help us with the kids. You know, you don't have to know robotics. You don't have to know about drones. Just come in sometimes and be there to support the teachers and support the kids as they're learning from the instructor. So we need people that are more or less classroom monitors that can be that extra set of hands for the instructor. It's all volunteer here. We don't have anybody that's getting paid, but we can use you to help us reach more people. One of the goals of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association when we started almost 20 years ago now is to help close that digital divide that is still existing in the African American community and in America as well. One of our mentors, or the person that helped found the Black Family Technology Awareness Week, Mr. Tyrone Taborn, him and an engineer from Boeing or McDonnell Douglas came, and they were talking about the lack of engineers, that we need more engineers. This was back in 2004, and talking about how other countries were outpacing us with graduating engineers from college. They made it a prime thing that they wanted to do, is get kids in and get them trained to be engineers in science and in electrical engineering and mechanical engineering and design, all of that. China was leading the world then, and they may still be leading the world in producing engineers. And there was an argument that, well, they weren't as good a quality, but sometimes if you just have the quality will work its way out of that, because you see that China is now one of the countries that is growing faster or real fast in their research and development, in their production with engineers and stuff. China, India, Japan, all of these countries are graduating more engineers than the United States. And we need to make sure we get our numbers up. And that means of all people, not just black people, not just white people, Asian people, Indian people, Native American. What we need is all Americans pulling together. We need to have more engineers, more scientists, more technicians. No, it's not a job that everybody can fill, and you shouldn't go into being an engineer or technician if that's not what your calling is or what you love. I mean, but some people are taking engineering because everybody tells them to take engineering, but they get to be an engineer and don't like it. Well, that'll happen in anything. But if you like working with things, inventing, creating, researching, developing, there's a lot of good work out there for you. And that's what we need more people doing. And all of it doesn't require a 4-year degree. As we talk about this, let's go into an article that I just got from Investopedia. And they're talking about how we should be making our investments, that we need to look at what we're doing and stuff, but they know that there's a work out there for scientists, for those, because there's a lot of jobs that are going to go empty in the United States. It says here, and this is an article by Terry Lane from Investopedia. If you want to check it out, it was published July the 29th, so just a little more than a week ago. And it says semiconductor industry is finding too few workers to boost U.S. manufacturing. So we're building battery plants in Kansas, and we're building electrical vehicles in California and Texas, and we're building trucks and electric trucks in Kansas City, in Claycomo. So we have a lot of manufacturing jobs, and they're getting more technical all the time. It says a new study shows more than half of the new semiconductor jobs created this decade could go unfilled. Yes. So that's something to think about. The U.S. passed legislation in 2022 to boost domestic chip manufacturing. That was one of Joe Biden's pushes, was as we were coming out of the pandemic, and to help us with that was to say we needed to do more on that side. So we did pass, and it was a bipartisan passed legislation to boost domestic chip manufacturing, making chips right here in the United States, and reduce reliance on semiconductors manufactured in China. Yes, China made it a priority to start building, research, and developing the stuff that we wanted to buy. They said we could do it cheaper. They could. They had the workers and stuff. So there, all of a sudden, most of the chip manufacturing was going over there. And we look up and says, now, for national defense, we're not making the stuff we need to defend ourselves. So we need to look at that, and that was what we're looking at. So we couldn't have the reliance, and the pandemic really brought that out. When they shut China down, we had to stop making cars. We couldn't make cars because they couldn't get the chips to go into them. So to meet these goals, the U.S. semiconductor industry will need more technicians, computer scientists, and engineers than the nation has to offer, potentially falling 58% short of the workforce needed. So less than half of the jobs will be able to be filled. Not even half, not more than half, but less than half that the industry is going to need. And that was a study by the Semiconductor Industry Association. And it showed that some of the key takeaways that the CHIPS Act of 2022 devotes $52 billion to promoting semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S. All right? So that's $52 billion. Of 115,000 semiconductor manufactured jobs created, as much as 58% of these positions may go unfilled, the new study says. And then technicians, engineers, computer scientists are the most needed position. So this is just in one industry, the semiconductor industry, making those computer chips. We're not talking about all the other manufacturing that's going on. This is in making those chips that we need to go into cars. We still have to assemble the cars. We still have to make batteries. We still have to do a lot of other things that they want to start doing more of that in the United States. They'll need 115,000 new workers by 2030, but as many as 67,000 of these positions could go unfilled, according to the study that looked at the degree completion rates to gauge whether the workforce would be ready for these positions. So they look at how many engineers are graduating, how many technicians, how many people with certificates or with undergraduate degrees in technical fields. They looked at that to say, hey, we ain't making enough because we're going to have so many retiring, so many people leaving the industry. If we don't produce a lot more engineers, scientists, technicians, then we'll have a problem. The CHIPS and Science Act devotes that $52 billion to promoting semiconductor research and manufacturing in the U.S. We used to do a lot of research. We used to have big research arms with a lot of our industries, but some of the corporate things got to be so wanting to make that buck real quick. We couldn't make it long term, so a lot of the R&D, research and development departments and budgets got cut or sent overseas where they could do it for less. But now that's coming back to bite them. So semiconductor research and manufacturing in the U.S., which produced only 10% of the chips needed in 2022. So we could only produce 10% of what was needed to keep everything humming, to keep the cars getting made, to make all the different chips that we put in things, and the things weren't even being made over here. So that's something we have to look at. So as America's semiconductor ecosystem expands in the years ahead, so will its demand for semiconductor workers with the skills, training, and education needed in highly innovative semiconductor industry, the report said. Engineering, technician, computer science positions most needed of the 67,000 likely unfilled positions in 2030. 41% will be engineering positions, while 39% of the gap will be in technician positions, and the other 20 in computer sciences. So that's what they say. We're going to be 41% short of the engineering positions that we need, 39% short of the technicians, and 20% in the computer sciences. So people that have those degrees, people that are graduating in computer science and stuff, they're going to be in demand. And if you're in demand, what? You can demand more pay. You know, all of a sudden companies start bidding for your services. That's going to be the thing to do. So the study found that it says for technician positions, most will require a 2-year degree, junior college, or certificates. So to get a job as a technician, which you may be able to make some darn good money even at that, you'll need a 2-year degree or a certificate. They've got people getting certificates in cybersecurity, learning IT, all of those that you can get at junior colleges, at the junior college level, to become a technician. So it doesn't all require that you become a college graduate or that you get a PhD or a master, although those don't hurt. But it's not saying that you have to do that. You know, computer science job openings will demand a 4-year degree, while 26% of the engineering positions will require master's or PhD level education. The study found that the lack of qualified candidates isn't a problem for only the semiconductor industry, as other technical industries in the U.S. will also lack candidates for these positions. Clean energy, medical technology, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, aerospace, telecommunications, advanced manufacturing, and automotive are among the industries that will create 3,850,000 computer science, engineering, and technician jobs by 2030. So they're saying that at least 3 million, almost 4 million jobs are going to be created between now and 2030. We need to get our kids in this. We shouldn't miss the boat on this. This should be important. We need to get our kids in the schools. We need to talk to the schools about teaching our children so that they can fill these jobs and make these companies and create the new technologies that will be used. We should have after-school science programs and summer science and technology camps that we can, the kids that like that can have fun with. We should have some nighttime, like they have hoops at night. There should be a robotics competition at night. That there should be kids learning how to build and to compete in the robotics fields through our city's hoops nights. You know, we've got community centers that we need to be investing in doing those type of things because they're going to be needed. And there's training programs, international students posed as solutions. The report lays out recommendations designed to increase the number of workers trained for semiconductor and other advanced manufacturing. Top recommendation was to expand certification boot camps, apprenticeships, and other training programs, and community and technical colleges, attracting more students to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math programs, and exposing them to the semiconductor industry was another recommendation. That's what we do here at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We expose them to those technologies, to those programs, and not just that, but to people who look like them that are working in those technologies, in those programs. Kids get hands-on and they can hear and talk to people that are computer scientists, that are electrical engineers or civil engineers. That is something that we do at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and we want you to come and help us. If you're an engineer, if you're a technician at a company, you don't have to have an engineering degree. If you're working in a technical field at a company, come and volunteer with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We would love to have you, and the country needs you. You know, we need that. So while expanding the pipeline of U.S. citizens could take years or decades, the report said that a solution that can help bridge the near-term gap in the semiconductor manufacturing world would be to retain and attract more international students with advanced degrees. So they're going to say, if we can't fill it, and right now we don't have enough people, we have to get those people, those students that are coming here from overseas or in other countries, to fill the jobs. We need to fill those jobs with American workers, American students, American young people today that are here. You know, we shouldn't have to go outside of the country, but if we do, it should be after we've tapped the resources here in this country. And we need to create more of those resources. We need to have more young people that are growing, learning, becoming involved in STEM. Young ladies, young men, you know, all people that are interested in the science and the technologies. Those are things that we should be striving for. So that's something that we do here at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. If you'd like to get involved, if you'd like to find out more about BFTAA, you can email us at bftaa@sbcglobal.net. You can reach us on Facebook at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association -BFTAA, or just put in BFTAA. We should come up. You can email us. You can write us. You can send us a mail. You can call us up. You can call here at the station, 816-599-6893. Call that number and leave a message that you'd like to talk to somebody. When we're talking, like right now, if you want to contact us, you could put a note in Zoom or in Facebook, and it'll show right up on the screen. We have a chat line that is open all the time. So even if you pick this up and it's not live, whatever you're listening to it or watching it on, if it's Facebook, if it's YouTube, if it's Twitter or it's Twitch, go ahead and put a note in there to us. You know, send us the information. Say you want to get involved. Say you know some young people that want to get involved. You know some young scientists, engineers, technicians. You know some retired people that want to give back to the community. We're looking for people for both sides of it, as volunteers and as students, to start learning about technology, to not miss the boat on what is going to be a very needed segment for our growing economy. So that's what we want you to do. So contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association when you can. Do it today. Yeah, you can call me right now, 816-599-6893. You can also email us at bftaa@sbcglobal.net. You can reach us on Twitter, on Instagram, on chat BFTAA or Black Family Technology Awareness Association. Type that in your search engine. We will come up. There's a lot of ways that you can get in touch with this organization, and we would love to work and to hear from you. Tell us how we're doing and that you like what we're doing. We'll be glad to hear that. All right, now before we close out today, at the first of every month, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory always puts out what's up in the sky, you know, what's up at NASA, so we can see what it is we can see in the night sky. A lot of the stuff you can see with unaided vision. You don't have to have a telescope. You don't have to have binoculars, although they can help. But a lot of these sites, you can just take your kids out, or you can go out and gaze into the stars and see what's out there. So let's right now check out what's up in that night sky. What's up, NASA? Here we go.
we'll have great views of Saturn all night. Saturn reaches opposition this month, meaning it's directly opposite the Sun as seen from Earth. Planets in opposition rise just after sunset and are visible until dawn. And it's when they appear at their biggest and brightest for the year. Look for the giant planet low in the eastern sky around 9 p.m. by mid-month, appearing a bit higher each evening as August continues. On the morning of August 3rd, Saturn appears just a couple of finger widths apart from the nearly full moon. Find them in the west before sunrise. The moon then makes a nice pairing with the Pleiades star cluster on the morning of the 9th, with Jupiter hanging nearby. The moon then has a super close meetup with the reddish star Antares, brightest star in the constellation Scorpius, on the evening of August 24th. August brings one of the best-known annual meteor showers, the Perseids. And this year the stage is set for a good show, as the peak night, August 12th and into the 13th, is near the new moon. The meteors are bits of dust, most no larger than sand grains, that originate from comet Swift-Tuttle. Earth sweeps through the comet's debris trail every year about this same time, resulting in the annual shower. The radiant, the point in the sky where the meteors appear to originate, is toward the northeast, appearing in between the upside-down W of constellation Cassiopeia and bright star Capella. Observing the Perseids is easy. Just find yourself a safe, dark spot to lie down with your feet pointing roughly toward the northeast and look straight up. Best time to view them is between midnight and dawn as the radiant rises higher in the sky. Meteor activity likely will be at its greatest in the hour preceding dawn. Now the crescent moon also rises in the couple of hours before dawn, but it's only about 7% illuminated, so it shouldn't pose a significant problem for viewing the meteors. You might also see a few meteors in the early morning hours during the week before and after the peak. August begins and ends with a full moon, making for a special occurrence that only happens every couple of years. You see, a second full moon in a single calendar month is commonly called a blue moon. They happen every 2 to 3 years because the moon's monthly cycle is just a bit shorter than the average length of a month. So eventually a full moon will happen at the beginning of a month with enough days left for a complete lunar cycle. When that happens, we get a blue moon. But there's more. The August 30th blue moon is also a supermoon. The moon's orbit isn't a perfect circle, so sometimes it's a little farther away from Earth and sometimes closer. At its closest point, called perigee, it's 14% closer than at its farthest. About 3 to 4 times a year, the full moon phase happens to coincide with the moon reaching perigee, and we call that event a supermoon. While it technically appears a bit bigger and a tad brighter than the average full moon, the difference is not super noticeable to the eye. The combination of these two special full moons, making for a super blue moon, occurs about every 10 years on average, though the time between any two occurrences can vary from 2 months to 2 decades or more. So enjoy this month's 2 full moons, and while the second one won't appear supersized or any bluer than usual, now you know what makes it special. Here are the phases of the moon for August. Stay up to date with all of NASA's missions to explore the solar system and beyond at nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
All right. So that's what you can see is what's up in that night sky. You want to see some meteors out there. It's warm, it's nice. You lay back with your head up, and you can watch some meteors go through in the night sky. There's a lot of things that we always can take advantage of. But one thing you want to do is go to www.nasa.gov, and there's tons more videos and things that you can do and get involved with there that don't cost you anything. So that's a good way to keep your family involved in science, keep your young kids involved, and to get a knowledge of science and space yourself so that you can learn about it and you will know about it. So it's always great, and I'm so glad that I'm able to bring that to you every month. They do that once a month with showing you what's up and what the sky will be like throughout the whole month. So I like to bring that and then go home and try and see some of those sights myself. I got some great pictures of the moon I've taken of a super moon, so I may get back out there and do that again. But it's always fun. You can take some good pictures. You can just sit and look at it. And it's a way to kind of contemplate our place in this universe. As you look out into space, as you look out at the stars and all that's going on in the night sky and say, you know, we're here. And how special are we that we were created to be a part of this great universe. That you are important, that you are needed, and that you are a vital part of this world. So that's all we have for the BFTAA and More show. I hope it gave you something to think about, something to shoot for, something to work on. But be sure and check us out. We're here every Monday from 5 to 5:45 with the BFTAA and More show. I am your host, Louis George Walker. I am so glad to be with you this afternoon or this early evening. I hope you've had a great day. The temperature is nice wherever you may be, and that you will have a great evening and keep looking up into the night sky. Thank you for joining us, and we will talk with you later. Have a great weekend. Or a great week, I should say. Bye-bye.